Good afternoon everybody and welcome back. My name is Claire from Claire Manning Creative and I'm back today with you for another live with another demo, and I'm going to be able to show you what we're launching on HobbyMaker on Wednesday. So whether you're new here or whether you've been here before, come and say hi in the chat. I can see there's a few people here already. Hi Tracy, hi Karen and Cleo. Sorry if you hear my emails pinking in the background. Hi Joe and everyone else that's joining in now. Everyone will be getting their emails pinged now to say I'm going live. So I won't do any demo or tell any super important information just while we let some other people join in. But maybe you're watching this on catch up as well. So if you are, leave me a message. Let me know what you think. It's been a crazy, crazy few months. Hi, Danny. Ah, lovely. Nice, lots of you joining in now. So yes, just to recap, I know lots of you have watched my last two videos and have seen that we've moved, me and Natasha have moved into our new office. Please excuse the mess, we're still settling in, and partly because of that, it's quite a small release this month. We'll be back to full speed and normality next month, but I didn't want to lose, you getting the time to watch me demo on HobbyMaker. So we've put a few new products together for you, a few new designs, and they're going to be out in tons of demos. And there's a couple of like back in stocks as well of some very, very early stuff in small numbers, but that people have been messaging me and saying that they've missed out on, and over time I've said, will you be getting this back in? Will you be getting this back in? So there's a bit of that. Bit of a mix this time, but some great offers as always, and for me it's just great to be on your screens and demonstrating, so that's exactly where I want to be. I'm also meeting with Jason next week from Burton Gertz, and yeah, we're going to be doing lots more things here in the Burton Gertz shop, lots of events, loads of good exciting stuff like that coming up as well. Hi Nola, how are you? Hi anyone else that's joining. I've got my Diet Coke, so please excuse me if I'm drinking this because I keep going from super hot in this office to super cold. It's cold today, isn't it? Don't you think? I can't make up my mind. I don't know. I hope you're all well and you've been up to loads, enjoying the weather when we have had sunshine. Hi Roxy. And we've got a really nice long bank holiday weekend. Are you all having a Jubilee party? There's one in my little new place where I'm living now. We're going to have a little party in the courtyard, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Anyway, do you want to carry on and see what's new? So there's going to be a small bundle tomorrow of some new stencil and masks, different to the ones the other week, the new ones that I did. But you guys have been absolutely going crazy for these stencil mask sets ever since I did the first ones, and they were just like your basic squares, hearts, that kind of thing. So over time I've done more and more. I think this is probably our 7th and 8th set now, maybe even more than that if you include the Christmas ones, and it's because they're really, really popular. It's really quick for you to create amazing cards, mix them with your stamps, use all your mediums, your inks, your watercolours, your embossing powders, your pastes. So I've put together a really unusual one for you that's nothing like any of the others. It's a kind of layering one, so if you have the splodges and you enjoyed the layering of that, but it creates something completely different. So that's one of the sets. So there is a bundle with 2 sets in together. The other one is some more shapes, some more unusual shapes. They're getting more and more complicated now as we've done all the basic ones. So I've put some in there that are going to combine with stamps that you've probably already got, and other things in your stash that are kind of great to have in the background. So I'll show you that set first, the second one, which is the designer set. So I've just put them on this piece of card, and that's just how the main part comes out for you. So you've got 4 designs as always, and you can use them like I've done here with the inks but we'll have a talk later on if you haven't used these kind of things before. But you've got some unusual different shapes there. So there's this kind of swooshy kind of one, which is great. You've got a massive cloud, which if you've got the main cloud downpour stencil, you're going to be able to use that with that, or you're going to be able to use it with your to the moon and back stamp, or the rainbow, loads of others. I love this double heart, and you've got this really cool style one that will go with absolutely anything. And of course you get the masks with the big pieces as well. So, oh, thank you, Tracy. She said the mask and stencil sets are such good quality. Yeah, I wanted to do, with all the moving, we couldn't, space-wise, we couldn't have big, massive boxes of stamps and dies and things like that come in at the time, because we were just between the two premises, and the house and all that kind of thing. And logistically, it was just too much. So I apologise that there isn't any new stamps in this one, but I really hope you're going to like these and see how they'll go with your stamps. And like I say, I am putting stamps on the show. They are going to be a mix of, some people told me that they missed out on the World's Best, or You Are My World, sorry. So I brought back a bit of that for you, and like I say, some real bargains and some other bits, and I've done a nice paste bundle for you as well. So there'll be loads and loads going on, and like I always say, even if there's, you know, you've got some of these stamps already, or you just want to have the new stencils, or you just want to watch the demos, I just appreciate you watching and joining. What's everyone saying? Nola, I'm cold. Yeah, cold and miserable here, Tracy. Love those. Yeah, it's like a princess kind of. You could do definitely some girly princess things with some of these, couldn't you? So that's called the designer set. And then the other one, it's a smaller piece for me to show you because it layers up to make a scene, and there's different ways that you can use it, and that's what I'm going to focus my demo on in a little while for you. But can you see, if I come a little bit closer, how this makes a scene with a sun or a moon, and then 3 different levels of all these mountains and things like that, which is really, really cool. So that's one way and one option to get layer up your colours for it, but there are other ways as well. So you can create such easy, quick cards with these. You okay?
Yeah, I just don't like to fall.
Try not to fall. Yeah, don't fall off your chair, Natasha. So that was very, very quick that I did that. So we're going to have a play around with that one and see how many different options that we can get with it. But let me just show you as well one of the stamps that everybody's been asking me for back from way back when. I think our very first collection that's going to be on the HobbyMaker website tomorrow is the Hello World. Very, very small numbers. But I think they're going to go really well. Imagine that. I think I'm going to do this tomorrow. Whoops, not tomorrow, Wednesday. Why do I keep saying tomorrow? Wednesday I'm on, 2 and 4. I'm going to try and do something with this flower and that kind of swooshy background, I think. Or maybe even the cloud, I don't know. But that's one of a few different ones that are going to be back on there. And finally, before I do the demo, what other things did I need to tell you? Definitely the flash deal is the Cosmos. There's not huge amounts of that either, but that's this week's half price one. I'm sure there was something else. Am I forgetting something, Natasha? HobbyMaker Wednesday. Flash deal. Oh, coming up towards the end of June then. Now we're thinking about getting into June, aren't we? Wednesday. So we've got NEC, Creative Craft Show, towards the end of the month. That's 3 days. And then just going into July, the 2nd of July, we're back at the Motorcycle Museum as well. So crazy busy month, loads going on and loads more coming up as well. So I'll let you know anything else that's happening in the meantime. Shall I swap over my camera and then we can have a play? Yes, thanks, Natasha. Yeah, 2 and 4 on HobbyMaker, as always, on Wednesday. So, and it's so much easier now. It's so close to home for me. I absolutely love it. Just swapping my camera over. Right. So let's have a quick look. So as I say, I thought that was probably the easiest way to show you the 4. When I showed you the others the other week, I thought it didn't really look that great, me just showing the stencils on there. I thought it's easier to actually show you how it looks when it's inked up. But I think those are pretty obvious and self-explanatory to how you can do them. You could just put a sentiment over, you could stamp one of your flowers or anything else, or just use it as a background and then put your die cuts on or whatever you want. But what I really want to focus today on is showing you the different options for this and the different pieces. So let me just grab them. We'll put a dark piece on just so you can see. So it is a 4-piece set, as the majority of them are. So you get the mask pieces and the stencil pieces. So you do get this moon or moon and sun. That's 1 piece. And then you get 3 of the kind of mountain pieces. Let me just turn that light off so it's not glaring. That's a bit better, isn't it? So the 3 mountain pieces are almost already spaced out for you as well on the stencil itself. So can you see that one's higher up, and it means that already, even when you just lay them over each other just to get an idea in your head, it's purposely not as long, that one. You can already start to think about all the different ways that you can layer up and all the different options. You can move them up and down to get different heights on your mountains. They're reversible, so you can have them come this way and this way maybe, whichever way you like. So that's the beauty of them being this type of mask or stencil. And they're going to be able to make quick cards, or even like wall art or scrapbooking or anything like that, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. So let me show you how I did this kind of basic layering up from kind of lighter to darker. I'm going to do that with some oranges for a change. And then we'll play with the mask pieces, because you're going to get a different look with this. You're using these instead of the open stencils. And if you've used the downpour stencil before, which is the original kind of cloud and rain one, and if you've used that edge piece, it's going to give us a very similar look. So if you like that, just turn this light off as well now. Is that okay? Does that look better? Now I'll turn that on.
Yeah.
It's still quite glary, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's better. If it looks too dark, Natasha, just shout me.
Yeah.
So let's grab some card. What I've done is cut a few pieces already, ready for my 5x7 cards, and I thought, let's just have a play around. I don't know whether we'll use all of those, but let's see how many different options just of inking, and then I might have a go with, might see if it'll work with some watercolour pens as well, and see if we can get a different look. Through stenciling might be something completely different. So I'll get my carrying pens out and see whether we need to, whether we can have a bash at that. So for ease, I want this to be the focal point of the cards as well. So for ease, I could just stamp over the top sentiments, but I've also cut out just a few of our lovely word die cuts, so I can just stick those on if I need to, if I haven't got them all tangled. There we go. I've got a love, a hello and a thank you, so we might mix those in as well, and maybe even some embellishments. But let's start off with this orangey one. So what have we got? I'm going to go in with this really light dried marigold. So I've got 3 different distress oxides here: dried marigold, white persimmon, and candied apple. And then the most basic way to use it is use the highest. Can you see the 3 different kind of mountain terrains? And this original biggest one has got the biggest peak. So for me, that needs to sit in the background and also be the lightest, so we can layer over and not lose too much. But it's up to you really. You can position and play with them and colour them exactly how you want. I just thought it would be fun to show you the easiest and simplest way to use them. But I know how creative you guys are. So if you think about when you look at mountain type scenes and that kind of scenery, things tend to look a bit more misty, don't they, in the background? So I'm leaving that first layer quite light and not too solid. Just give my stencil a wipe. That piece. So we've got these 2 pieces are really interchangeable. They're very similar in height. This peak is probably slightly more, but it's totally up to you in terms of where you position them and which one you want to come first. I think I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to go the next kind of darkest in my trio. So that's the right persimmon. And I'm going to come down a little bit further so I get a lot of this peak, but it's up to you. You can have them line right up if you want it quite tight, like that one I did there. It's not much of the biggest one showing. And then what you'll notice is, because we started off with the really light colour, this one's already covering those lines at the bottom. So we're not going to have any of that showing. It's going to be seamless by the time we finish. All we should have is one clean line at the bottom, which you can have at the bottom of your card if you really want to. Yep, you're right, Natasha, the great mail cards. Oh, thanks, Sue. Try them with pastels, yeah, why not? I'm going to try them with some other things in a bit. So that's the next layer. And of course, having 3 layers doesn't mean you always need to use your 3 layers either, does it? And let's go. Oh, I thought these were kind of quite sunsetty. So again, it's up to you. You could have this come right up to meet the other line and cover up some of that. You could have a little bit of the underneath one showing. But having these thinner mylar ones really lets you see as well where you're positioning things. I want quite a lot showing this time, so I'm just going to hold it in place there. Oh gosh, I don't think I've got a brush with a red on, you know. Let's make this one a red. And again, because the red is slightly deeper than the orange, if you want something over the top that's lighter, because sometimes you do, I'd say emboss it. So go over and use an embossing ink through your stencil and then put an embossing on, and then it will sit on top. So it's taken really not even minutes to do that because we've been talking halfway through it, but that's really, really effective already. Tell you what would look really cool if you use the masks. What stencil would look really cool behind there as well is the high in the sky from last time. You could have like the sun rays come from behind. That might look really good. Just got red ink all over my dress now. So, sorry, I'm just wiping the stencils in between. So, with this one that I did earlier, the blue one, I used the mask piece from the sun or the moon, the full moon, whichever you'd rather call it. I can't find it. But yeah, I used the circle, held the circle down and inked around it. Or you could have a full sun there. I'm going to see if I can emboss a gold sun or a moon on that one, I think. So if you want to overlap, just make sure this is really, really dry before you do any embossing powder. Otherwise it's going to stick to the wet ink. And particularly these oxides are pigment based, so they stay dry, wet for a long, long time. I'm going to help it speed it up. So let's have a bash at getting a nice gold sun sitting behind that. Some scrap paper somewhere. Let me put my anti-static on first. So as well as drying it off, we're just going to make sure it's not going to stick. I'm only going to overlap slightly, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's maybe position it about there. Oops. And just put the embossing ink straight through my stencil for this one, because it's a nice big open space, so it's not going to catch on anything else. Easy peasy. Give that some heat. That's given a really effective kind of desert-y kind of look to it, don't you think? And you've got all that depth from the different colours. You might have colours that are slightly closer in shade. That might give you a different vibe. But I really like that. Let's pop it with a sentiment or something. I don't know. Or I don't know whether to just have something really bold.
Cheerleader sentiment.
Cheerleader, yeah. Actually, tell you what, I know that's nice and bold and the words would go lovely, but look at what about if You Are My World, because it feels kind of feels wordy.
Wordy.
Worldy. So I'll pop that on, I think. Yeah, you could do the moon as well. I mean, you can make that a sun or a moon, the circle one, but then obviously you've got the moon stencil there, or if you've got the to the moon and back stamp set, that's an even bigger moon. So you can mix and match again. Let's pop this straight down the bottom here. Ooh, sentiment in craft card or gold mirror would be lovely. I haven't got those to hand right now. But I also thought if you had your bonding powder and some of the foils, you could do a gold foiled sun, that would, or a silver moon or something like that. That would be amazing. You could have the sun peeking up from the mountains. Yes, you could. Yes, you absolutely could. So if you wanted to do that, what I would recommend is do your background like that, and then use the mask pieces to hold those in before using the circle stencil for your sun. So then you're not going to get it overlap like I've done. Oh yeah, I suppose it should be sitting behind really, shouldn't it, in perspective? I didn't think that through. Well done, Sue. You're cleverer than I am. But as an aesthetically looking, pleasing item, it's fine, isn't it? So I'm just going to pop it on a card. You won't tell me off, will you? Yeah, it does sound like they've all got some amazing ideas, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Let's see what embellishments we've got left. I'll try and use something that we've got left on the website as well, so you can see how they look, if there is anything that you wanted. If you're new here and you haven't seen our website before, there's stamps, stencils, dies, loads of other paper craft supplies, and there's a link in the description below.
I'll post it again.
Lovely, thank you. And if you sign up on the email section at the bottom of the page, then as all the girls that are on here know will tell you, I send you weekly offers, things like deal of the week, flash deals, discount codes. You'll hear all the news of new things that are coming up. So it's definitely worth doing. There's no cost in that. You just pop your email address in and I'll tell you when there's new lovely things. So what have we got? Yeah, abstract as well, but I'm going to have a go in a minute. I will use the mask quickly to show you the opposite, but I'm going to have a go with one of the others and see if we can get a more watercolory look as well. See if we can get a softer look. I'm going to use some bubbles, I think.
Yeah, we've got some clear ones in them.
Yes, I've got some bubbles in them. So I'm using, I think these are the iridescent ones, but there's some clear ones in stock if you need to top up. As usual, I haven't got my pokey tool thing, pickup tool.
Oh, it's in.
It's somewhere, isn't it? I'll put it now, don't worry. Oh, thank you. Natasha's passing me that one. I can position them properly. No. She knows I'm disorganised. So completely different, but still a lovely way to be able to use all your lovely supplies. So let's get another piece similar and do, I'll tell you what, I'll use the same colours And let's see if we can get a completely different look with the same colours by using the masks rather than the stencil pieces. Just do it with the mountains. So let's put this piece in the foreground this time. And we're kind of going in reverse here. I'm doing the foreground first, so the bit that's at the front, and then the background after. I'm trying to go light-handed, but with dark colours that can be quite difficult. So straight away we've got a completely different look because our mountains are now in the white. Let's do this piece next in the orange. You don't need as much on your brush, and I always start on the mask so you don't get any harsh lines, and all you're looking for really is a little bit of ink just going over the edge. If you follow it kind of in a line, and then if you need to blend out because you've been a bit heavy-handed or anything like that, just go really, really lightly. You'll get that different kind of look. Completely, completely different. And then the lighter colour again. Imagine if you've got lots of silhouette tree stamps or something like that that you could add on as well if you wanted to. Of these colours with like black silhouettes on top of pretty much anything would be amazing, wouldn't they? If you wanted it to more be a background than a focal point. I'm going to go back with this one. I just want some of this extra orange, this lighter orange, to come a little bit further up. Yeah, I like that. I know I really like these colours together. I very rarely use reds, you know. And a little bit further up with this again. Just kind of winging it here. Yeah, very rarely use reds. I love oranges, but very rarely use reds. But that candied apple is like a real, true red, isn't it? So straight away, that's a completely different look, isn't it? And again, go over with your stamps, whatever you feel like. I don't really know what to do with that one. I think I might keep that and use it as a background for something else, or maybe even die cut something rather than make it into a card right now. I feel like it needs something else, but I'm not quite sure what yet. So I'm going to hang on to that. But you can see how just, that's what makes, I think, all these stencils and masks so good value. Because one, they're not very expensive anyway. The sets are only $8.99, and then I've done a cheap bundle for you for HobbyMaker. But also you've got so many different ways to use them and so many pieces. I always think stencils are amazing for that anyway. Right, let's have a look at, let's do a quick one with, I want to have a look at the Cosmos flower. Maybe do it over the top of this. This is like a little bonus one for you. You know what, I want to do a couple of things. Please ignore these ones with the shapes. Mine are a little too narrow, so we were just testing to do them. But yeah, yours will be the full 6 inches like normal. And of course with the hearts as well, you get the little mass, so that would be really cool to do something with those. Can't find the one I'm looking for now. Come on. And I want to do some watercolour with it.
Do you want some water?
I've got some in a little bottle, am I right? Thank you. There it is. So, I have no idea how this is going to work. In fact, let's get a watercolour card rather than that so it works a bit better. That would be a good start. Not a hammered card, but this is working well for me as a watercolour card at the moment. So, which way up do I want it? So I'm thinking about how to lay this out. Maybe something like that. Although I always feel that the flower needs to sit that way a bit more. Something like that might be nice. So I thought I'd try adding some colour with a watercolour brush, and I suppose you could do this with the paint as well, and seeing if we can get it to not spread too much. Let's try with these kind of turquoisey colours, see if that works. And I need a brush. So I'm going to add a bit of colour. I'm not worried about where the edges of the stencil are, because when I add the water now, that's going to give me a guide. Now, when you use watercolour in general with stencils, you will sometimes get some bleed. You won't get as crisp as using something dry, but that's part of the charm of it, really. It certainly stops you having to worry about where your colours go and making your colours go into the basic shape. You're still going to be able to get that look of it showing, of it creating that shape for you. Still much easier than creating your own background. So I'm adding the water, mixing these couple of shades of blue. I'm losing the lines nicely there in the water. I've got like a turquoise, a blue, and then we'll add the lighter one down here in the corner. Hopefully that will give us almost like an ombre effect. And these three blues and turquoises going lovely together. Just giving it a little work there. Okay. So it's still got that lovely kind of, it's not quite a teardrop, is it? But it's a lovely shape. So let's give that a dry off, because I do not want to stamp over that while that's wet. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, that was a bit loud, wasn't it? So that feels bone dry now. I was thinking to stamp over just in black, which I think would be lovely. However, I wonder if we could do it in gold. Let's give it a try. And then I think this might also qualify for another one of our clean and simple cards. We say clean and simple, don't we? And I use that phrase a lot for things with a lot of white space and, you know, not tons and tons of layers and things like that. But we all know that actually some Clean and Simple cards have so much effort put into them. It's unbelievable. And so much thought, because you don't want to overdo it. Yeah, do you find the same, doing that kind of? So again, I'm putting tons of anti-static on because I do not want it to stick anywhere near that watercolour. I hope it's dry enough. If you're doing this kind of thing at home, just make sure it's super, super dry. Obviously, I don't have tons of time on my hands here when I'm doing lives with you, because it's just boring, isn't it? Just watching you do nothing. I think I like that already. Gold and teal, or gold and turquoise as well, are really cool, don't you think? A really nice combo. So if you haven't seen this stamp set before, this is the first of, and there's more coming of these designer blooms, where all the leaves, and this in Cosmos you get in real life, there's all these feathery bits with the leaves that grow. So you get them separated from the flower, which means that you can lay them out exactly as you want and build them up. You can do some in ink, some in embossing. You can do some flat on the card, you can do some raised, and it just gives you that flexibility. So this one is this week's flash deal, which means it's half price on the Claremont and Creative website this week. But it's huge as well, that flower. It's really nice. So let's get some gold on this. Oh, thank you, sir. If I try doing Clean and Simple, it takes me longer than a normal card. I found too much. Yeah, I don't think you're alone there. I think because you know you don't want what's stuck to my fingerprint. Because you know you don't want it to look too faffy. It ends up that you take more care, I think, don't you? I need a dry brush. Got a bit of gold powder where I don't want it though.
In that pot.
Which part? Oh, up there.
Do you want me to get it?
So I go. I need longer arms. I know that. Let's just get that off. Where? What was I saying about plenty of anti-static, and then it's stuck to a fingerprint. There we go. They're not easy, Clean and Simple cards, but it is something that gets easier with time, I think, the more you do, because I think it's something that you develop an eye for, and the more you do them and embrace the white and the simplicity. It's all, for me, about the placement and the position of certain things. Do you think that would qualify? I hope so. So let's put the little high sentiment on from the stamp set, actually. Oh, do we want the die cut one? Evan said he wanted the die cut one earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Yes. Yeah, let's put that together. We got any rolls of double-sided anyway?
Yeah.
Perfect. Got any of the flat? Or is it just the... Oh yeah, thanks.
Or the red one.
No, that's fine. This white one. That's great. I always get a dirty mark off my fingers. Yep, same. Same, especially I think there's like a little peachy mark off that. Should have wiped my hands after doing that orangey red card because I think I had a bit of Distress Oxide on my fingers. But depending on what you've used, you can sometimes remove it, or we do the ultimate thing, which is put a sequin or something over it, isn't it? Or our sentiment, or whatever we whatever we fancy. There is one more thing I want to do after this because we're still not quite on our hour, are we? So I think we can squeeze it in. I'm not even going to put any embellishments or anything on that. I think I'm going to leave it completely. That is really clean and simple. See, I told you I got a mark. I don't know whether you can see that. I'll edit it out. No, it is not just you. Don't worry. It's not just you. So those are the two we've got so far. The other thing that I wanted to have a look at was I want to do a glittery cloud because I just think that would be lovely. And I'm not going to make it into a card or anything. I just want to do it for the fun of it, if I'm quite honest. And I want to do it in Salvage Patina. And then I'm going to put some paste over the top. Making such a mess here. I've got out like everything, haven't I?
Oh my god.
Poor Natasha's having a heart attack.
I'm just going to close my eyes.
So this cloud one is huge as well. So that's a 5x7 card piece. And then I just want to see how it looks when I reposition and put some paste over and make it like a glittery one as well. So I've got my glitter glow paste. It's going to pare back that colour a bit as well. This is the fine one. I'm taking the fine and the chunky on Wednesday with me. If anybody needs to top up or has not tried it. But it dries super, super sticky. So do try to not get any around the edge or wipe it before you close the lid. Otherwise it will stick. I'm going to dry that off. I should have done that one first really so it could dry off naturally. But we'll dry it with the heat gun so you can start to see the glitter. Already you can see that's a sparkle. You could even cut round that, couldn't you, and use it as an embellishment rather than or almost, you know, it would look like a die cut piece. So there we go. Yeah, I might cut around that and put it on a dark card or something. I'm sure still not shut. Oh, Tracy. Right then, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. So I will be with you. I'll post loads of cards anyway and loads of inspiration ready for the show of what we're going to be using. and how to use the stencils and the masks before. But I will see you at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. I hope you have a lovely, lovely couple of days, nice afternoon, and I will see you there. Take care, guys.